She was shown round here by a member of the Guard Squadron of the Special Air Service Regiment. It was a unique occasion, and at the same time as showing to Her Majesty the fighting role of the Household Division, we have taken the opportunity to make this film to show you what you can expect from life in the Household Division. The main event of the afternoon was a fighting demonstration that showed the Queen the variety of tasks the Household Division carry out in battle. This was called Battle Royal. You have heard about the outstanding history of the Household Division in battle. To commemorate this, the first scene depicted the tasks of the division about 100 years ago. It is about 1870. To show how battles were fought in this period, men of the 1st Battalion Scots Guards marched onto the battlefield in Long Valley to take up a defensive line. Look carefully at their uniform, tunics and bearskins, and it's from this period that our present-day ceremonial uniform originates. The Foot Guards were supported by the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment and the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery. The King's Troop are not part of the Household Division, but are termed Household Troops, a definite distinction. Today they fire the gun salutes on special occasions, and you will see them from time to time when you are stationed in London. Notice too the colours. You will learn about these at Pirbright. They were used in battle as the rallying point for troops. They were very obvious, and in the confusion of battle a man would make for the colours of his own battalion. The line is formed now, and they fire volleys against enemy infantry. Then they form a square as a defence against enemy cavalry. When the enemy was successfully held, a quick follow-up. Men of the Mounted Regiment, normally on ceremonial duties in London, charge the fleeing enemy. And then the Foot Guards reform to continue their advance. And shortly the guns will move on to take up their new position. Well, you've seen a brief glimpse of life on the battlefield 100 years ago. We have changed a lot since then, as you will see. The modern battle is completely different. In the scenes that follow, you will see a typical battle sequence of the 1970s. As the Foot Guards march out of Long Valley, imagine that this same piece of ground is in enemy hands, and over the enemy positions, an aircraft brings men from the Guard Squadron of the Special Air Service Regiment. They are experts in operating in small patrols behind the enemy lines. They parachute in at night, silently, to carry out acts of sabotage to disrupt an unsuspecting enemy. They free fall from about 12,000 feet using special parachutes. Any man in the Household Division can join the Guard Squadron after proving himself in a battalion and passing the stiff Special Air Service selection. It's a great challenge that requires high skills, but the rewards are great too. Having landed, they are careful to dispose of all evidence of their presence. Parachutes are folded and hidden. And finally, the small group meets up to carry out their task. Remember, this is all taking place at night, and the enemy are not aware of their presence. The job they have on this occasion is to blow up the enemy radio station in the castle. This castle, incidentally, was built especially for Battle Royal by members of the Guards Depot. They move in carefully to lay explosive charges still undetected, and you can see the radio antenna on the communication center. The charges are laid, and the fuses set. An unsuspecting sentry gets skillfully dealt with. Now for a quick getaway, and the men of the Guard Squadron do this using enemy vehicles that they have seized. They move off to carry out further acts of sabotage and to gain information about the enemy. The charge explodes. A job well done. Well, all that took place at night, and time now passes on. It is now dawn, and the enemy, who were badly caught out last night, hurriedly reinforce their forward positions. There is now a real sense of urgency. Incidentally, the enemy were found on this occasion from Irish and Welsh Guards recruits from the Guards depot. During this time, our own forces are continuing to gain information about the enemy. The armoured cars of the Household Cavalry are probing forward. That's a ferret scout car. And that's the Saladin in action with a ferret scout car. Their main job is to probe and observe the enemy and pass back information. They are also capable of considerable firepower and can deal with small pockets of enemy. That's the Saladin again. They can fulfill useful tasks like capturing bridges. But in this case, the enemy blew it first. Well, the situation now is that the enemy were caught out last night. They have reinforced their positions, and the Household Cavalry have reported these accurately. They retaliate with artillery fire. We now need more positive action to deal with the enemy, so here come the men of the Guards Parachute Company. These guardsmen have a very special task in the Parachute Brigade. They are the pathfinders, and their job is to drop in ahead of a main parachute landing to secure and mark the dropping zone for the remainder of the brigade. All guardsmen are eligible to volunteer for this company. You have to pass the parachute selection course and be really fit. You get extra pay while in the company, and you wear the famous red beret. In hardly any time after landing, they are ready to put in an assault on the enemy positions. They get covering fire on this occasion from the armoured cars of the Household Cavalry. The enemy pull out to a position in those woods. And it is now time for our battle group to deal the final blow. A battle group is a balanced force of tanks and infantry. The tanks are chieftain tanks, each 60 tons of the best and most powerful armoured fighting vehicle in the world. The Household Cavalry are equipped with these in Germany. They will lead the attack on the enemy positions in the woods. Watch the battle group move into action. Chieftain tank has a stabilized gun that remains pointing at the target no matter how rough the ground. They pack a cruel punch with the powerful 120mm gun. Helicopters piloted by members of the Household Division direct artillery fire, spot targets and pick up casualties. This one is picking up a casualty. But in any battle it is the infantry who have to ferret out the enemy on the objective. And here the foot guards in armoured personnel carriers, APCs or 432 for short, drive forward and debus near the enemy position to fight through the objective. These APCs carry a section with all its equipment right up to the objective, but in the end they must get out to close with the enemy and destroy them. Clearing the woods, they use the weapons you will be taught to use during your training. The Sterling submachine gun, the self-loading rifle, and the general-purpose machine gun known as the GPMG. Can you recognize these vehicles? These are the APCs moving back to a safe area until the objective is cleared. Another casualty picked up by helicopter and taken to care and safety. Here's an enemy vehicle making a run for it. A team with a 66mm anti-tank rocket is ready to deal the deadly blow. You'll be taught to use this too. No problem there. Well, the foot guards have now cleared the woods, and their APCs move forward to pick them up. They have captured some prisoners, and that's them in the lighter uniforms. And they will be useful for gaining more information about the enemy after interrogation. And finally, the whole battle group moves on to keep up the pressure on the withdrawing enemy. You will remember that the Guards Parachute Company captured the castle area. They are specialist troops who will shortly be required for another parachute drop. And so here come a company from the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards to relieve them. They are travelling in Puma helicopters, the latest in the RAF range. Each carries 16 men. This is a very quick way of moving men around the battlefield, and you will almost certainly be lifted this way on many occasions in the future. parachute company have been relieved and now prepare to move off in the helicopters. Time, the battle group continues to fight the battle. There's an APC in trouble. And finally, the parachute company fly off to get ready for their next mission. During this time, a troop of chieftain tanks has remained on that far hillside to give covering fire when necessary. As the battle group moves on, so must they. Notice their ability to produce their own immediate smokescreen. This can be a very useful way of getting out of difficulties, providing instant concealment. Remember the stabilized gun, the most advanced system of its kind in the world. You've seen in a short space of time many ways of moving about the battlefield. Here is one more way to do it. The Household Cavalry tanks are joining the foot guards at the castle to demonstrate how infantry can ride on tanks. Each tank can take up to 25 men in varying degrees of comfort, which is often better and quicker than walking. So, as the last troops move out of Long Valley, Battle Royal draws to an end. You have seen something of the variety that life in the Household Division offers. You have seen the sophisticated equipment you will have to operate. You will realize that there is a lot to learn and a great challenge lies ahead. However, one thing is certain. When you have made it, you will be proud to be a guardsman.